Hey there. If we haven't met before, my name is Stephanie Thayer. I am a certified sports nutritionist. I'm also a certified health coach. I have a background in psychology and project management, and I just bring some life experiences here. So if you have not followed me yet, I would love for you to hit subscribe. I'm also on other platforms, so you are welcome to find me there. You can find that in the notes of today's video. I want to talk about something that I'm hearing a lot about. So I coach a lot of people. I talk one-on-one with a lot of people every week, and I help them with health. But really, that's not just the gym or food. That's mindset, that's surroundings, it's sleep, it's movement, it's gratitude, self-care, all these different things. And the number one thing I always hear about is anxiety. But the common thread that I'm hearing right now is moms are so overwhelmed. So overwhelmed. They are tapped out. They just cannot. And what I'm hearing is they don't feel like they can talk to their husband, and or they don't want to upset him. A lot of these women love their husbands so desperately, and they don't want to upset them. So my concern is that this burnout leads to resentment, and then it leads to bitterness, it leads to illness, it leads to not a good home life, all kinds of horrible consequences. So there's a few things. I was going to give you some data. Then we're going to talk about things that moms can do, and then things that dads can do to help this situation, okay? So since the stay home during COVID, which depending on where you lived in the country, 2021, 2020, 2021, right? So a 22 Pew Research survey at the end of the year found that 27% of moms that had kids under 18 did not want to work for pay anymore. That was a huge increase, about 8%. So it went from 19% to 27%. The amount of moms who said they preferred to be employed full-time went from 51% to 44%. I don't have the number in front of me, but I think it's about 70% of working moms are working. 70% of moms are working, okay? So that's a huge amount, and half of them are saying they don't want to be working. So part of this is that we have expenses. It's more expensive to live. People are trying to keep up with the Joneses. Don't keep up with the Joneses. Done plenty of podcasts on our own financial journey, how to get out of that. If you want, maybe I'll share one on how to actually build generational wealth. That's something that we worked really hard to do. Women talk about the challenges of childcare duty. December 2020 research, I tried to find more recent, but it's just not out there, by Great Place to Work and the healthcare company Maven. Working moms were 28% more likely to experience exhaustion than fathers. That is massively significant, you guys. I used to get paid a lot of money to do statistics. 28% more likely is a huge number. Okay, that's massive. Mental health is deteriorating. There are studies here from 2021 about that. It is massive. So, okay, that's nice. Thanks so much, Steph, for the data. Who cares? Here's why you need to care. You love the woman in your house. You love the mamas, right? I think there's a few reasons for this. So societal pressures have increased. Women are still doing most of the household responsibilities. Most women are working. Most women are doing the majority of child rearing. Now, of course, there are exceptions to every rule. I'm using data. Your home is not a data, like you aren't a statistic. You are unique. So take this with a grain of salt. But men, if you are listening, your wife is probably not telling you she's burned out. They're telling me. They're burned out. They're exhausted. And I see resentment. And the resentment is what concerns me. And that's why I was like, we got to talk about this today. So, one thing I want to remind everybody in the house. Love is not self-seeking. Love is actually an action. It's a verb. It's not a noun. To love someone. I love you. That is a verb. That means an action. So it's a daily choice to show an action or a behavior that you love someone. Maybe it's making the coffee. Maybe it's a note. Maybe it's grabbing dinner. Maybe it's doing the dishes. Maybe it's just stopping and getting off of your phone and looking at the person. Okay? We have to do that for each other without expectation. And that's very hard because a lot of people make tick marks and like, well, I did these 8 things. And, I hear very often, well, I did the dishes. Aren't you proud of me, wife? I did the dishes. Your wife is about to kill you. Like, what do you mean I'm proud of you? You did the dishes. Yes, it's fantastic that you're doing the dishes. She did 82 things before you did the dishes. And so when you're like, hey, do you see I did the dishes? That's just irritating her more. Do the dishes. They love you doing the dishes. Don't say anything about doing the dishes. I promise, if you consistently do the dishes, she's going to say like, hey, I see you doing that. Thank you. I appreciate that. She will acknowledge you. I promise. But if you call it out, it's going to bother her more. I'm just telling you, I'm mostly about 80% of who I coach in my health business is women. And I am a woman, so I'm just saying. I know what it's like. Okay. So women, here's some advice for you. You need to ask for help. We assume men know what we're thinking. They don't. We really need to make it really simple. Not like, hey, could you take out the trash today? Hey, in the next 30 minutes before people are over, could you please make sure that the trash is out on the street and also all the trash bins are out of the house? Do you see how that was much more detailed? Much more. Because men, I wish I had this ability. Men have this ability to literally like not see the chaos that is happening around. I don't know about you, but my husband, he can be asleep in like 5 seconds on the pillow. That is not possible for me. He can walk past the house and like bombs are going off. Have you ever seen the scene in The Incredibles where he's like, I'm intervening. I am intervening. Totally my husband, okay? And I know a lot of men are like that because thank goodness they're relaxed. Women are generally more emotional. Men are usually more even keeled. But they can overlook a lot of things that we can't. So if you need help, you need to ask. I also recommend having a conversation with your husband or your partner. I do not recommend doing this in the middle of frustration. You're not going to get the point across that you want. Spend some time, write some notes out, have a conversation when you're on a walk or you're having a good time and just say like, I need help. I do this all the time. Like I'm maxed, right? Like it's kind of my code to Craig. Sometimes my husband does, like if we're in the kitchen or whatever, and I'm like, I don't have to say anything, but I feel it. I'm going to have a breakdown here, right? It's coming. Talk to him because we can't assume. Assuming is very dangerous. Assuming makes that out of you and me. My dad used to always say, as women, we think that they should just get it. They don't. And then you can't be mad or resent him because you didn't have the conversation. So I think that's the number one most helpful thing. 2, be grateful. Do a little gratitude. Every day I have a prayer journal and I write a couple things that I'm grateful for. Simple things like, thank you, Lord, for my coffee. Thank you, Lord, for my coffee machine that saves me money. Thank you, Lord, for sweet people that send me text messages. Thank you for the breath in my lungs. Simple things like that, right? Get outside. Get outside, get outside, get outside. I don't care if you're working traditional, lunch break, get outside, get out of your desk. There are studies that actually show taking a break between each meeting is huge. If you have that 10 minutes in an hour, a lot of offices, it's a 50-minute meeting. Go outside, just stand out in the sunshine. You have no idea what that will do for you. If you can walk, even better. Say no, N-O. A lot of women, we are people pleasers. Hi, my name is Stephanie. I'm your friend. I'm a recovering people pleaser. It's a true story, okay? Say no. you are already maxed out. You have to look at what your priorities are. I've done other videos on time management. Super helpful if you want to look at how to time block and what you need to get rid of and what has to stay, especially if you're overwhelmed. It's worth your time. Listen to it while you're cleaning up, okay? You can do that. Let go of things. Holding on to things emotionally, mamas, it's not serving us. It's not. This probably isn't serving you. You're probably looking at other people's highlight reels and it's pissing you off and it's making you resent. It's not even their real life, okay? The news, it's negative. It's probably not serving you. All kinds of things. Set some healthy boundaries around your phone. Sleep. Okay, don't laugh. Some of you, I know you got little ones, things are happening like sleep. What is sleep? If you are in that season, oh my gosh, ask for help, right? I remember I used to think I was tired before I had kids. You have no idea, especially when you have littles, right? It's just crazy. Food, what you're eating. When we don't feel good, we want to eat junk. You guys, it's not serving you. All those quick carbs, all that stuff that loves you, the chips, the bread, the pastas, it's straight sugar in your body. It is not helping you function or think, and it's crashing you. So you're probably also having a lot of caffeine and then a lot more carbs. It's not good for you. Self-care, which I know is super, super hard when you're tapped out. That goes back to the getting outside, the moving around. With your kids when it's dinner time, go outside, sit outside. Simple things you can do, right? I'm going to give you, well, here's another one. Men, ask how you can help. Ask her how you can help. And make a little list for yourself when she says how you can help, and do it. Don't ask her again. Don't do it one day. Listen, if you were single, you would be doing all the household things yourself, okay? That isn't necessary. You're a team. Life ebbs and flows. Maybe one has a more stressful work schedule than another. And by the way, husbands, if you have set up a lifestyle that your wife stays at home, that doesn't mean she was sitting around all day, okay? I thought I would have so much more time when I started staying home. My boys were almost 3 and 2. And then I volunteered and homeschooled and all that. But when I first started that, I actually didn't have more time. I was running around for 5 kids because I have 3 bonuses, running them things, making good healthy meals, cleaning the house. Like, we still are exhausted, and we know you are too from work. But it doesn't mean that you come home and you sit down. Husbands, get off this. The number one complaint I hear from your wives is that you get home, you sit in your chair, hours. And if it's not this, the second thing is the TV. Hours. That doesn't mean you can't decompress. Make a plan with her. Hey, it's really hard for me. I drive home in traffic. I'm stressed out. I'm going to sit for a half an hour and watch and scroll. And then after that, I'm going to turn it off and be present. Okay? Really, really important. I want to remind you guys, you loved each other. That's why you got married. You had children. You wanted children so badly. Don't waste those evening hours that you have together checking out. Okay? That's why you do all these things. That's why you work hard. And you know what? Life is hard right now. It's hard. Finances are hard for most people. We weren't promised an easy life. But when you yoke together, it's crazy. I'm going to look it up right now. The potential, let me see. It's so much higher. Okay? So I don't know if you know what a yoke is, but you can have oxen, cattle, horses, but generally in scripture they talk about it with oxen. And so, let me see, strength. So when you pull something on your own, right, you're going to have just your strength. When you take a yoke, what happens is they put it around the animal's neck. I can't find the data, so I'll put it in the notes if it's wrong. I think it's something like an oxen can pull 5,000 pounds on his own. When 2 oxen are placed together, I think it's 25,000 pounds. So it's 5 times more. So it's not 2 times more like independent. It's because they're linked and they're in unison. You are linked and you should be in unison in your marriage, okay? It is so important to see each other and to love each other. And guys, one of the best things you can do, take your wife on a date. Don't ask her where she wants to go. Tell her, tomorrow night, I would like to take you out. Can you be ready at 6? You call your neighbor, you call your friend, you call your mama. You get her to watch the kids, and you watch. She will get dressed up, and she will be excited. Sometimes, we just need to feel loved, okay? We do like to dress up and be pretty. Even, says the girl who, like, I'm not super girly. I don't get super dressed up, all that. We want you to date us. That could go a really long way. I promise you. And then the last advice that I have is really for both of you as a family unit. Well, I have 2 pieces of advice. The first one is, if you look at all these things and you have conversation and you truly are completely tapped out, call a family meeting. That could be with family, could be with family, which is friends that are like family, extended family, and ask if you need help. I have quite a few clients that have multiple little ones in their life. They are truly, truly overwhelmed. These mamas need therapy. These mamas need to sleep. These mamas need rest. Some of them have special needs children, and they're not getting it. And you know what happens? Those mamas get sick, and those mamas get burnt out, and then it's way, way worse, you guys. If you are watching this and you're a family member, that mama is probably not going to ask you for help. She's not going to. We have a hard time asking for help. Show up one day. Bring her a sandwich, sit and love her. And when you're there, be like, hey, can I do the dishes for you? I see there's dishes in the sink. I remember what that was like. Hey, you want to hand me the baby for a sec? You want to take a shower? Very, very simple. The second thing that I would recommend is pray together. There is so much power in coming together and giving it to your higher power, which is the Lord. And He wants you guys to win. And when you put Him first in everything that you do, it absolutely changes everything. I would love to hear your comments, your thoughts, any recommendations that you have. If you haven't subscribed or followed me yet, I would love for you to do that here. That really helps me. I'm trying to build this platform, and you are welcome to follow me. I put a little bit different content on Instagram and Facebook. Love to see you over there as well.